And here we are. And we are live. Hello, Texas. Don't turn that dial. This is the Fly Mackey Show, and I'm your host, Fly Mackey. Good evening. Um, I was adopted by a Jewish mother and an Irish Catholic father, and they named me David Mackey. I like that name. Amber calls me Dick. Welcome to the Bruce Porter channel tonight. And for those of you who are watching us, I know we're on like 8 different channels from YouTube to where to X here and all several in between. By the way, so those of you who are seeing us brand new, we are broadcasting here on Bruce Porter's channel tonight. My name is Fly Mackey, and I'm the CEO of Smart Money Culture Television Network. And we have a television network in Texas and one station in Louisiana and another one coming up in Tallahassee, Florida. And Bruce has Impact Money. He has a television show on our network, and he does a show at 6 a.m. Central Standard Time, and then he does one at 11. So he's live on 11 a.m. And then I think he's got another show that we're fixing to produce for him on our network sometime in midday during some prime time hours, right? But he's smack in the middle of prime time at 6 a.m. Central Standard Time in Texas. Okay, so anyway, the once again, for those of you joining us, I'm Fly Mackey. I'm the CEO of really I'm the janitor, but I play the role as the CEO here on Smart Money Culture Television Network. And we talk about credit. And of course, Bruce talks about crypto, and he does world news and, all kinds of stories that come out of DC and around the world, et cetera, et cetera. You guys know Bruce very well. You have there's a lot of loyal followers there. And then we talk about credit and getting credit and how to buy houses without getting mortgages, and using velocity banking and stuff like that. And those of you most of you here on the Bruce Porter channel don't know me, but I'm old G. I hate to say that word. So I'll give you a story, a little bit about my background here. And normally I wear a blazer with a button-down shirt and blue jeans and tennis shoes. That's how I like to dress. Tonight I got a t-shirt. Tomorrow we're going to broadcast from the ranch. And, I think I may be riding some horses while I do the broadcast. But anyway, that's where we're coming from tonight. Tonight I'm just casual in a t-shirt, so you guys forgive me, all right? But how I got into just give you a little bit of background about myself, and then I'm going to talk some crypto and then some credit, okay? But I was a missionary for 10 years, and towards the end of my missionary, a buddy of mine said he needed some help borrowing some money. And by the way, those of you who have businesses know that you get to eat a lot of ramen noodles in the beginning, right? A lot of hot dogs, because there's just not a lot of money to go around, and whatever money we get, we're doing what with it? We're putting it into the business, right? And we're buying crypto and hoping it goes to the moon and all kinds of good stuff like that. But I was a missionary, and a buddy said, "Hey, can you loan me some money?" Now I'm the poorest guy I know at the time, and so I give him my entire life savings at the time, which is about $2,800. But before I gave it to him, I loaned him a little bit of money, $400 up front. And then he said he needed to borrow more. I went to his house to see why he needed money so desperately. And he had a garage full of these little machines, which he told me were Bitcoin mining machines. And so I thought, this is very interesting stuff. Now, this was before, of course, Bitcoin was Bitcoin. This was when they were mining it, and then Satoshi Nakamoto, whoever that is, we have our ideas, but once again, gave out like 1 million Bitcoin to the gamers and said, use this as money to trade. And that's really how it started. And then, so anyway, when I thought it was so cool that he had all these machines in his garage. It was really hot. And he said, I really can't afford, he said, I'm paying the electricity. He said, but I can't really afford food and I can't really afford to pay the rent. So all the money I had in the world, and some of you guys are going to know about this because there's no risk it, no biscuit, right? I gave him my last $2,400, but I didn't give it to him. I gave it to the landlord, and I said, listen, I'm a missionary. I'm broke. Like, I have no money. I'm the brokest guy I know. I'm the brokest guy he knows. And he's asking me for money because nobody else will give him any more money. I said, so here's my money. Here's this money here. And if you get to the end of this and he still can't pay rent several months down the road there, then I want you to just call me. Call me first before you call him, okay? And that's the story. So I told my friend Mike, I said, Mike, don't ask for any more money. I'm the poorest guy. I don't want this to get between us. It's a gift. Well, he says, I promise I'll pay you back. You fast forward it some time later, and he hands me. He didn't hand me. You guys who know what I'm talking about. He hands over some Bitcoin, and I said, "What is it?" And he goes, "It's money. It's the future of money." And I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, it's the future of money." And I said, "What's it worth?" And he said, "Nothing." I was like, "What?" He said, "Yeah, it's worth nothing, but it's gonna be worth something down the road. So I'm going to hold it for you." I'm like, "Well, of course you are." And as the story goes, I went from the outhouse to the penthouse. And that's a true story. It's exactly how it happened. And then from there, you guys know, I had no credit. I had no business sense. I didn't know how to balance a checkbook. I was a single father. I didn't know nothing about business, but I had some money and immediately started spending it. Bought a house. You name it, I bought it. And then, and I bought some businesses because people said, hey, invest in this, buy this. So I did because I believed them. And they didn't turn out to be such great investments. It didn't bother me none. It's like, it is what it is, but I learned fast, and I hired people to teach me about credit and about how to buy houses. I'll never buy a house with a mortgage. Those of you who are wanting to buy houses, we can show you how to do it with creative financing where you'll never have to put a mortgage down, ever. Matter of fact, we're going to buy a property this next week. It's about a $600,000 piece of property. Now, he wants more than that, but we're going to help him out in a big way, and we're going to take it off his hands using creative financing, okay? But anyway, getting back to this, I spent a ton of money and didn't know what I was doing. And then one day I said, okay, I got to stop all this because I got to stop the bleeding because I don't know what I'm doing with all this. And I was cashing it out, and you know what I'm talking about. Those of you who put a little in and the next thing you know, it goes to the moon and you're like, wow, I can't believe this. I'm like, I got some money. Well, that's what I did. But, it started kind of going away. But I still had a bunch of it. Okay. Anyway, a lot of coaching and a lot of buying programs and a lot of learning. I'll tell you what money will do for you. Okay. It'll make you 6'7", handsome, and smart. We're not any of that. Maybe a little bit smart. But anyway, we learned about credit because if you don't have credit, you're not even playing in the game. And that's the truth. That's the way it works. If you don't have credit, you're not even playing in the game. And so we learned about how to get credit, how to use credit, and if you own a house, 100% you should be your own banker if you own your own house. Since then, though, what we did is we took what we had and we stuck it away. And I took a little bit, and then I started buying some businesses. And then I had a radio show, did a radio show in Phoenix. We had one of the first Bitcoin radio shows in America because I could afford it. And my partner said, let's do this. And I said, okay. So we did it. And then I got introduced to television. The local TV stations there in Phoenix said, hey, let's put you on TV. I thought they wanted to put me on TV because I was so great. And you know how TV works or any other platform is, you know, you had to spend some money, right? So they were wanting me to buy a show, and they said, well, if let's produce you a show, and we're going to do it on Saturday. And those of you who are watching know anything about TV, it's expensive. They said, let's put you on Saturday, and we'll start you out there 10 a.m. The least watched hour in the entire week, 10 a.m. on Saturday morning, and it's going to cost you $14,000. I'm like, oh, wow. That's started adding that up. I'm like, that's expensive, I think, isn't it? And they go, well, you know, you could get one of these other hours and it's going to be a lot more expensive, but let's start you here. This is why we want to start you here. And I said, well, how much is it to buy the channel? And the guy said the magic words, you can't afford it. I said, you're probably right, sir. But how much is it? You know, the old Donald Trump stuff. You're probably right. Anyway, I'm a conservative. I'm a libertarian at heart. Okay. That's kind of like my thinking. But anyway, I'm not going to get into the politics tonight. All right. But yeah, we won't get into that tonight, but you guys know where I'm leaning. I'm a gun-toting Indian, all right? That gives you an idea of where we're coming from. All right, so I said, how much is it? And they told me what it was. The next day, said, I'll have to get back with you. Are you serious? Yeah. And the next day, they gave me a price, and I wrote them a check. And the rest is history, as they say. Now, it took like months and months and months to go through the FBI, the Securities and Exchange, the FCC, the IRS, Treasury, half a dozen other security checks. They did a background check on David Mackey. I'm a nobody. I'm like, why would you do a background check on me? You know, you go get a job and they say, hey, we're going to do a drug test and a criminal background. I'm like, well, what for? Like, I'm nobody. Why would you do that? Anyway, that's what they did. And about 5 months later, I get a phone call from the owner of the station, said, you still want to buy this channel? And I said, he said, is the check still good? That's what he said. Is the check still good? And I said, yes, sir, it is. And he goes, I'm putting it in the bank. You own a channel. And that's how I bought my first TV channel. It was a local channel there in Phoenix, Arizona. And I love the TV business. And I met Bruce Porter. Thank you, Bruce, for letting me broadcast on your channel here. I met Bruce Porter a few months later in Las Vegas. He had this big stage. And at the time there, that was the biggest crypto event in the U.S., that Vegas one. And anyway, all the people were coming, and all the movie stars and all the people who wanted to be seen, all that good stuff, you know, they were coming on. He was interviewing, and he had all the creators of all the coins coming up there and giving talks and stuff like that. And we were brand new at TV. We couldn't even do the cameras. We didn't know what we was doing. But anyway, we had a lot of fun at it. And I was talking. I didn't know who he was. I'm on the side of the stage. This guy's up there giving a talk. There's a whole 100 people out there listening or whatever. And then the next thing you know, the guy gets off stage. People start walking around and moving. Other people are coming back for the next speaker. And the next speaker didn't show up. So, and I'm telling him my story of how, you know, I just bought this TV channel. He said, Fly Mackey, everybody get up here, Fly. And I sit with him, and he interviews me, and he gets me on my first crypto and we did several after that. But anyway, that's how I met Bruce Porter, and we've been good buddies ever since. And then when I bought these 5 channels, so when I bought, hold on a second, let me see if I can get the. I want to show you guys something here. Screen share. And there we go, right there. And there's Fly Mackey right there. So there I am. This is our TV network. So we broadcast live. Thank you, 105 viewers. If you will go over to Smart Money Culture, just kind of toggle over there and hit the like button, or you can hit the like button down here with Bruce too. But see us over there at Smart Money Culture too, our channel. Hit the like button and subscribe. We don't have a lot to subscribe to yet, but we're going to get there, okay? But anyway, here's our network here. And then Bruce is on my television network out in Texas and Louisiana. And let me, where are we? Up here. Okay, here we are here. Okay. And so you can see me on TV. So we're broadcasting live. And thank you guys for joining us tonight. We're broadcasting live in Corpus Christi. Here's our, look at that Indian right there. I look a lot better when I'm made up. They put makeup on you and make you comb your hair and put on a jacket and a shirt and stuff like that. I look pretty good, huh? I love it. So here's our network right here. And Bruce has 2 television shows on my television network here in Texas. And of course, my 1 channel in Louisiana. And then of course, Tallahassee is coming. So thank you guys for joining us. But this is where Bruce is broadcasting, and he has a show there with his brother David. And, you know, he's broadcasting there out of DC and around the world when he's traveling, his brothers all over the world. But these are the 5 stations. We're in Houston, which is the 6th largest television market. They call them DMAs. It's the 6th largest direct marketing area in the United States. So the 6th most amount of money spent from consumers or businesses is in the Houston DMA. Okay. And so anyway, these are where my TV channels are that I bought, and Bruce is on these and does a great show, and he's got a really good following here in Texas. And then so now you guys, and thank you for being loyal to Bruce and his brother David and watching his show. And so, you know, he said, let's get you on my channel here so that you can talk about whatever you want to talk about. And I said, well, thank you. And here we are. So one of the things that we're doing with Bruce is helping him go to events. So you guys help us get there. Okay. You can go to smartmoneyculture.tv/credit. If you're looking for credit, you can sign up for it. But over here, do you see this? You see this right here, this content. All right. So by the way, now you're here on social media, the different 8 social medias we're on now. Y'all are watching me live, and this is my TV commercial. Do you see this? This is a commercial that we have playing to Corpus Christi and Houston and College Station. So all of these, you're watching me live with no commercial break, but all these guys here, they're seeing the commercials. That's what they get to see.
Have you ever dreamed of going anywhere you want, whenever you want? I don't always buy cryptocurrency, but when I do, it's Bitcoin.
That's my dog's phone right there. Yeah, I'm fat. And there you go. So if you want to help,
when we get rocketed into the fourth dimension, what happens is our spirit goes
by the way,
somebody but just couldn't get the words out. It's because our body is not there yet. So the recommendation is this, and it's pretty simple. Just say it.
You're gonna see
sometimes we don't get a second chance.
Going over the edge of the
in your hood.
Got a guy, got an entertainer come up there called Drake, and we told him, don't bring your cameras up there. You can't bring your cameras and just film up here. Well, he did. We kicked him out. We kicked the guy out. It's like, you got to get out of here. If you can't follow the rules, you got to go. Well, he asked to come back, and he did, and then he filmed a video up there. And anyway, I love that place. And then when I decided to get into business, I said, you know what? I got to get rid of this thing. Let's get something smaller. And because I have a feeling I'm going to eat a lot of ramen noodle. Those of you who have businesses, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But anyway, if you want to help us and you want to help Bruce get to these next events, you can hit the contact button just like that, and it'll pull up some stuff that you can talk to. You can write us a note, blah, blah, blah. Tell us what you plan to do, or if you plan to help or whatever. And then if you're looking for credit, listen, I am passionate. I'm passionate about helping people get credit. Like if here's the game right here. Now, a lot of you guys in crypto, I know you guys because I had the same thing. I was so stupid. I'm not calling anybody stupid. I had lots of credit cards, okay, several years ago. And then when I thought I was going to get into the crypto game, well, I cut up all my credit cards because I'm against the man now. I'm against the system. The problem was the system was never going to go away. And it's probably never going to go away. And the crypto system is going to come in. Will it dominate? Yeah. One of these days, the crypto side of it is going to dominate the other currency banking type system that we have now. But they're still going to fit together. And I can see how they fit together beautifully because crypto is going to be the savior, in my opinion, of the world currency and the banking systems. Now, I'm not really for the banking systems, but once again, these guys have printed, according to the central banks, they've given out over $5,000 trillion. Do you think they're going to let that fail? So the crypto world, and of course they now, crypto's at that point right there where it's growing, and they don't want to see it fail. No one wants to see it fail. It's still small enough it could fail, but they're not going to let it because it's the future of banking. And there's not a government in the world that doesn't agree that cryptocurrency is the future of banking. And out of those 11 ETFs that were created, that was allowed to sell, the ETFs, the two of them are betting on a different Bitcoin than BTC. So this is going to be pretty exciting times. And one of the things, and by the way, I'm a crypto guy. I'm 100% on the side of crypto. But once again, we still have to live in some reality of the banking system. Now, I'm what's called the unbanked, pretty much, which means we have bank accounts, but we don't keep a lot in the bank. What we do keep is what's called lines of credit. Because see this right here? If you don't have, this is our U.S. debt here. And we have an economy that's designed around debt and credit to pay off the debt. So if you don't have credit, if you don't have debt and credit to pay it off, you're not even playing in the game. You're not even in the game. And I tell people who are in the crypto business all the time, and by the way, I know there's more people listening tonight than just in the crypto business, but I just want to say to you, if you are in the crypto business, and yeah, you can take some of your coin because people have invested and sell it off and use for your operating expense. But once again, once you spend the cash, it's gone. Or once you spend the crypto, it's gone. When you put money into a credit line, you get to borrow it back. And the difference is what's called cash flow. I didn't make this up. People have been living on this. Families and businesses have been living on what's called cash flow for thousands of years. Thousands of years. I mean, this isn't new for those of you who may think the stock market and all that's new. Banking has been around from thousands of years. Okay. So you go back to the beginning of the U.S. Stock Exchange. 1792 was the beginning of the New York Stock Exchange. That's the humble beginnings of that, where these 6 brokers got together and said, "Hey, if our companies are going to make it over here, we better start selling some of it. Let people buy into our companies, and then we'll expand using their money." And that's exactly how it worked. And that's the beginning of the stock market. And it's been working. It's been going straight up ever since. Even when you have the crashes, it still continues to go straight up. So here, this is the U.S. economy and the financial system has turned into a huge debt pull. But once again, once you have that debt, the financial institutions want to give you credit. And as soon as you get that, if you learn how to use that credit, then you're in the game because you get to live off the cash flow. But anyway, the algorithms, computers, the humans, there's not a banker looking at your account. When you go to sign up for credit, there's no bankers that's looking at your account. So if you go into the bank and say, "Hey, I need some credit," there's no banker that's actually applying or has authority to give you the credit. You can ask them, "Hey, do you personally have a authority to give me any credit?" And if they say no, then you're wasting your time, and there's nothing that they can do for you. And when they go on their computers and say, "Well, let's fill out the application," you could do that at home. You don't need them to fill out an application that you could do at the house. But now if they do, ask them, "Okay, if you have authority to give credit, what's the most that you're able to give right now?" Now I'm giving you some nuggets, just some things to kind of look at and talk at. We're going to have more. I'm going to have deeper discussions and talk about this over and over and over as the days, weeks, and months go by. But you can ask the banker how much, and if they say, "Well, I can give you $500," you want to ask for $450. "I'll take $450. Give me the application. Let's do it right now," and then be on your way. And then go to the next bank, and then go to the next bank, and then go to the next bank, and then go to the next bank. These banks don't care. You can go to as many banks as you can in a day, as many days in a row as you can, as many different banks until you run out of banks. They will not care. You can go to the same Chase. You can go to Chase Bank and go to a dozen different branches in your area, and they're not going to care that you went to these other branches because their job is to get the money that they have out into the system. This money right here that's in the system. So you see here, we owe $35 trillion. Well, the majority of the trillions of dollars that the Federal Reserve has printed has never seen the light of day. They want it to see the light of day. They want to give the money out. They're not against you. They don't even know who you are. And the banks don't care that I'm brown. They don't care that I'm a little fat. I hate that. All right. I don't want to digress. They don't care that I got long hair. See that? I got a lot of hair. See that right there? I got a lot of hair. They don't care that I'm a native or anything else that I might have in me. They don't care that I'm educated or uneducated. They don't care if you're brown or black or white or any other color. They don't care whether you're green haired or fat or skinny or educated or uneducated or woke or unwoke, whether you're conservative, libertarian like I am, or liberal. They don't care about that. They don't care any of that stuff. What neighborhood you live in, whether you're married or unmarried, gay, straight, they don't care about none of that stuff. The computer, money only knows trading hands. That's it. That's it. So the banking system, these trillions of dollars that they have there. So I'm in studio. Our other studio's in Houston, which is another 40 miles away from my office studio that we have here. Tomorrow I'm going to be broadcasting from the ranch. And I think I'm going to be riding horses and stuff. We're going to be riding horses and doing some stuff tomorrow while I'm actually broadcasting. So that ought to be a lot of fun. But anyway, so the computers are the ones that do all the banking these days, unless you're talking to a relationship manager. That's it. So a relationship manager, by the way, you can go to smartmoneyculture.tv/credit and fill it out. And, it's fairly simple to get $100,000 and 0% business credit. It's not that hard. Okay. And we get it for people every single day. But getting back to this right here is the computers pick what you get, not a human. The banking system hasn't been set up for 30 years for a human to give you any kind of real loans or lines of credit unless they're a licensed broker, and not every branch has a licensed broker. So, but they used to have a lot of now they have less and less and less brokers, and now they're more in a regional setting. And so those guys are called relationship managers. And they're not going to talk to you. Once again, they're not against you, but they're not for you either. And if you're not doing millions of dollars a year in business, millions in business, and if you don't have, plenty of money rotating in cash through there, they're not talking to you. I'm sorry. It just doesn't. They have plenty of people. They have plenty of companies in their business there. Let's just take Chase Bank or Bank of America or Wells Fargo or Navy Federal or U.S. Bank or any one of any other 300 major banks that we have here in the U.S., big banks. If you're not running millions of dollars through your account, they're not even looking at you. They're not even going to give you an appointment because they have thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands who are that they can't even get to. There's not enough time in the day. Okay. And there's not enough for them. Now, those folks, they're going to hand take your application right across the hall in the same building to an underwriter. These underwriters are from the Federal Reserve and the central banks. You can go straight to the Federal Reserve if you know how, but this is exactly how the system works for those of you who don't. It's like when you go to a seminar, right? You hear enough where you go, I think I can do it, and you go out and you try to implement it, and sometimes you can. Sometimes you can't. I'm going to give you enough info. You can go do this on your own. You don't need us, but you can hire us if you want to, and we'll make it easy because we have a done-it-for-you business where we do like 90% of the work. You do have to help us, but we do most of the work. Anyway, you can go to that link right down there below here and sign up, fill out the application or fill out the info, and it'll tell you right away whether you qualify or don't qualify. If it says you qualify, then there's a good chance you're going to get yourself at least 100,000 and 0% business cards. And we'll show you how to do it. Okay. Now, the relationship managers, these guys and gals, they make a lot of money and they work on commission, and their only job is to get money that's sitting on the shelf that the Federal Reserve has printed, that the central banks want in the worst way. They want it. They figure out all kinds of ways to get that money that's sitting on the shelf. Okay. And they do it and they get it, but only about 20% of the money that they printed ever makes it into the light of day to people like me and you and even our government. It just sits there because there's not enough of us that knows how to use our bank accounts with our credit. So most people grab, and by the way, I'm not putting anybody down. I'm just talking with you tonight, okay? But once again, most people don't know how to use their credit at all. And because they don't teach us how to do this, all right? But once you learn how to use your credit lines instead of your checking account, along with and not use your IRAs and your mutual funds and 401ks, that's all trash. It's all a scam. And I don't want to get too deep into the weeds tonight because this is my first broadcast on Bruce Porter's channel. But I do want to put out enough info to shock you the F up. Wake the F up, because there's a good majority right now who are listening out of the 305 live people watching, and I'm guessing this will get bigger, but there's enough of you who own homes or have lines of credit or credit cards that you could be what's considered wealthy or moderately wealthy, and you don't even know it. That's the sin. Not to you, but because we haven't been taught. In 1903, they took it out of the school systems. They used to teach, by the way, pre-Civil War, when you bought a house, you had to come up with 80%, and then they would loan you the last 20%. That's how it used to be. 80%. And then the interest on that last 20 was out of this world. But it is what it is. And so things have changed. Things changed when they realized, hey, we could give them mortgages for 30 years. And the average mortgage back in the day when they started doing all this stuff, or when they started pre-Civil War, where they asked you for 80% down on a house, and then you had to pay the other 20, they wouldn't carry that loan out more than 7 years. That was it. And it was high interest too, because then they wanted your property. Not only did they want you to pay 80% up front, but they wanted the property. They were hoping that you couldn't pay because they were going to take it over and just get bigger and bigger and bigger. But anyway, as time, so the interest rates, what you're paying on your mortgages, that's just a number. What you're paying in credit cards, that's just a number. It doesn't matter whether you're a vet and they're giving you 2.99%, or you're anybody else and they're giving you what, 7.59 or 8.359% for mortgages, or you're like anybody else who gets a credit card at 26%. Like, all that is just a number to distract us from the real amounts of money that we're going to pay, because they make it comfortable for you to make the payments for months and months and decades and decades and decades. Yeah, it's all a distraction so that you can fit it into a monthly payment. That's it. And then they give you more and more and more until you get to that point where maybe you can't pay it, or you really have to give back. You have to cut back on food or utilities or entertainment, or the kids, you may not be able to do the traveling sports, or you may not be able to go to the theater. You may not be able to take your trips. Maybe that new car or that new truck that you wanted, you might have to put that on hold. You may have to send the kids to a different school and stuff like that because your debt, and you gain stuff too. When they give you more credit, you gain, right? You bigger houses, bigger cars, you're gaining, but that interest keeps you in bondage for decades, sometimes decades and decades and decades. So when you learn how to use your debt as a bank, then all that goes away. And trust me, they don't want the general public to know this, but anybody can do that. What we do, okay, anybody can do this. So but they're not advertising. The banks and the government aren't advertising these type strategies because they want that interest and they want to keep you in that and locked into that. So, and it is what it is. So you can't blame them or anything like that. But once again, let's get back to this because I'm digressing. If you don't have debt and then you don't have credit to pay off the debt, you're not even in the game. That's the whole point of it. So once you learn to get the credit, and we'll show you how to get the credit, then you're in the game. I was talking to a guy today. He says, no, I'll just sell more crypto. I'm like, but why would you sell more crypto? I mean, listen, we have the right to be smart here in the crypto side, just as much as they're smart on the other side. Just because I bought something and then, okay, it made some money, doesn't mean I have to spend it all up and then go look for another opportunity, which a lot of us do. And by the way, they do it on the other side too, not just over here. But we have the right to be smart about this, just like the other side does. That's what I'm trying to say. So when you learn how to use these lines of credit, bam, you're up there. And we'll show you how to do that. I'll show you a strategy here in just a second that'll blow your mind. Anyway, do you mind if we talk about Bitcoin for a second? It's one of my favorite subjects to talk about, cryptocurrency, and then we'll get back to credit. But in the meantime, if you're looking, and by the way, if you're looking for credit, it's easy to get $100,000, and that's just the start. The question is, what are you going to do with it when you get it? Okay, because once you get it, then you can invest it in anything you want, of course. That's your stepping stone to moving up to that next level of prosperity for you. And by the way, we live in a country here. We live in a country that has a financial system set up for everybody. I want to slow this down. We have a financial system for you 399 people watching live right now. And I'm guessing that'll be higher here in a second. But we have a financial system, 413, bam. We have a financial system here in the United States that's set up for every person to become a millionaire. It's not about becoming a millionaire. We have a system that's set up for us all to make that kind of money. All of us. We're just not taught how to do that. And believe me, I was a single parent, broke most of my life, really uneducated for the most part, except for this last 10 years or so, 10, 12, 13, 14 years now. And so mainly uneducated, didn't know anything about banking, didn't know anything about buying houses, didn't know nothing about nothing other than taking care of 4 kids. That's all I knew. Single parent. All I knew how to do was take care of kids. I was broke and poor and very ignorant. Okay. So the more you learn, the more you'll realize that we are in a system here in the United States that it's made for us all to be wealthy. It's money in and money out. This whole system that you see right here, this right here, it's all built on debt. Every bit of it. If they wipe this out tomorrow and it all went bam to the gutter, down the toilet, down the drain, who's going to get the worst of it? Well, you and I are, the poor, those of us who aren't billionaires or centimillionaires, or who don't have massive amounts of food put away. That's why it's important that you put some food away. It's important that you have ammunition. It's important that you have some way of turning on your electricity and being self-sufficient. Okay. So we're providers as humans, provide, protect, defend. But once again, getting back to this right here, this system is created for money to go out and then money to come back in and money to go out. The money out is the debt. It's created on debt and it survives on debt. That's this system right here. It's made for debt. And then when you add cash flow or when you add revenue into that debt, it makes it grow. Like that. Makes it grow. And when it grows, the system gives you more and more and more. That's how it works. Okay. So anyway, I want to talk to you about some crypto. This is incredible. I'm passionate about the credit because I was so poor and so broke for so many years and didn't need to be. If you own a home, 100% you should be your own banker. Can we look at some crypto? Let's look at what Bitcoin's doing. By the way, so here's the chart here for Bitcoin. This is you see Matt Dixon every day on Money Impact Live in the morning with Bruce and his brother David. Matt Dixon's out of the UK. This is his site right here. It's evai.io. And then Matt is one of the top analysts in the entire world. This guy is sought after. But anyway, this is his site. And then he ranks the coins, like the top 100 coins or so. He goes past that, but the top 100s are easy to pull up. You see here, Bitcoin here, and I got the chart up for the going back here, back to 2021. And I always like to look at going back as far as you can go back, but here's where we started having, and the way, if I can look at you for a second, I like to look because you see these guys who put charts out and, they put all these Fibonacci and all these different ways of looking at the charts, and it gets real confusing. I'm a simple guy. I want somebody to explain to me in very simple terms what it looks like and why it looks like that, okay? So let's go over this this is a very simple charting right here. So here, you see here where Bitcoin hit its in 21, where it hit its highs, started hitting its highs, then it went up into the 60s here. And then, of course, here most recently, where it hit up into the 70s. And then it started making its descent. And here, if you can look here, since January or March, it started ascending. Actually, it started ascending in February, the end of February, where it started going up, ascending up, like going to the moon, right? And everything leads to 188,000. I mean, it all leads to that 188. I could do something just simple right now to show you and I'm charting quite a bit all the time. You take that lane right there, and then you could, and this is very, very simple charting, by the way, very simple right there. You see this lane? So when they talk about it going to the moon, here's a lane. If it would have stayed in this lane somewhere around June of this year, Bitcoin could have been around $188,195, give or take. That's where it could have been. But this is where it was making its move to go that direction. Now, since then, since then, as it started making its all-time highs here, where it was in the 70s, $74,000, it started making its descent. And you can see here where it hit the top here, and it tried. Now, the reason I have this angled, because this is a more true angle of this channel right here, right? And where it hit the top here, hit the top here, hit the top here. It hit the top of this green channel right here, this green candle right here. It hit the top here, and then it went over it. And a good indication of where it's going to go is if it goes above the channel or below the channel, and it stays there for more than a day. Well, here it started, you see here, it broke above the channel, but it didn't stay there for any period of time. For 3 days in a row here, it tried and didn't. And then it started its descent down again. And you can see that it's been traveling in this channel going down. Okay. And there's a lot more room here. And so if I can, you see here where there's nothing to protect it. It hit these channels right here. See where it dipped into here? Then it went back up here into this channel, and then it tried to come back down again. The sellers were trying to have its way. It came into this little sub channel, but it didn't have its way, and the buyers won out once again. And then it came down here several times, but you see where it hit the bottom right here. It hit the bottom here, hit the bottom here, hit the bottom here, came through here, but didn't last even for the day, and then went back up. And there's no support right in here. And you can look back, see this line right here at the 58,000. See where it hits? It hit the bottom of these right here. Well, it actually hit the middle of this candle right here. See this? It hit the middle of this candle, just the bottom of this one right here. It hit the bottom right here, and then it went back up. And then it hit the bottom, or it actually, the trading that was going on in these 2 days right here, it got just below there, but it went back up here into that other channel. And then you see here where it carries itself. Let me just show you why that $58,000 mark range is relevant. Okay. You can see here where it hit the top of these mountains right here. And once again, Bitcoin went above this range right here, but didn't have support to stay up here, and then it popped back down. But all this is in the 58,000. See that $58,598 range? And so here it hit a couple of the, look at this right here. This is incredible. This is why you want to pay attention to your charting. And you don't have to, but see here, the top of this one right here, 58,000. And then it hit right there at these two right here. It'd probably be a little bit more truer if I raised it up like that right there. See that? It hit the bottom of this channel here. It hit the top of these two right here. It went through and it hit the top of this, where all the massive trading was on this day, where it stopped and went below that. It actually went above it right here. You can see it right here. See that? Just at the top of the trading day here. Okay. Then it hit right here on these two where it tried to go back up. But once again, the sellers had their way. And when it goes up, there's plenty of, we're not going to get into it tonight, but there's plenty of examples where it peaked its head above here and then it shot way up. But this, once again, this is just real simple trading, but that's important because you see all this support that it has here, but it didn't have a lot of support above that. Let's get this. See where it hits these these mountains right here, and then it comes back down and it does it again right here. It's the bottom here. It's the bottom of these two candles here. It's the bottom of this one, almost this one right here, but it goes back up. It's the bottom of this one right here and the top of these two candles here. and the top of this candle here. So it hits these plateaus, and of course, it didn't have enough support to go above it. And this is real kindergarten stuff, but I want it to be, because I want you to be able to see in simple terms, see that? No support in here at all. So when you get over here to this right here, and it's trying to make, see, there's no support in here. There is no support right here. Now there's some here. You do have some support to here, here and here. You do have some support here. But you see here where it's tried to make its way. It's tried to make its way, and it looks like it may actually do. See that? Here's the 58,000 mark. It hitting that there, bottom, hitting the bottom of these, hitting the bottom of these, and the bottom of these, almost right where it's at right now. And it's making its way down. Maybe, but it's still traveling in this channel right here. And this is in the day chart. You can look at this on the weekly chart, the monthly chart, the 90-day chart, the 6-month chart. They all mirror themselves. Pretty cool stuff. Let's get out of this and look at this. But here's where the real stuff is, guys. Here's where the real stuff is. It's not in the volume. It's not where the price is today. Once again, all that is to distract us from the real, what's really going on. Take a look at this right here. This is what you want to look at. By the way, we're not financial advisors or anything like that. But you look at this volume right here. Thank you, Bruce, for having me on tonight. Let me broadcast on your channel here on Twitter. And by the way, for those of you who aren't in Texas or the market that I have there in Louisiana, Bruce Porter has a hit show on television, live television in homes, just like you're watching us now in the comfort of your home. You know, this broadcast right here also is going out into the TV sets, into homes here in Texas. And Bruce is a huge, huge hit. When we scale, we're looking to scale to, another 103 channels. Now, who would think an Indian? I like to make fun of myself. I have a saying. I don't know if it's a saying. This is how I believe. This is my philosophy. If you have it in you, you can talk about it. So I'm Native American. I got some Mexican in me too. I was adopted by a Jewish mother and an Irish Catholic father. Both of them were white. And we got some Asian in here somewhere, but I won't get into that story. And I have some black. We have black too in our family. So I can talk about natives, Latinos, Jews, Irish Catholics, whites, all the brown people that I just mentioned, and blacks. I get to talk about all of you suckers. That's the way it is. I don't discriminate against any of you. You're all going to get it equally. Every one of you. Here's something I want to say to the 652 people that are watching live right now. Don't believe in racism. Don't do it. I'm going to digress for about 10 seconds here. Don't believe in discrimination. Okay? Because it's not true. And we live in a system here in the United States that this financial system don't care who you are. It's not rigged against us. I hear this all the time. The system is rigged against us. It's not rigged against us. We just haven't learned the system. And those of you out there who believe that cash or only having crypto is the way to go, you're not even playing in the game, and you have little to no chance. And I'll say this as nicely as I can without ripping out any feathers tonight. I'll offend you a lot later down the road. Trust me, because it's made to. You can't grow unless you get offended. You can't have a public debate unless you get offended. You have to go through the pain to be able to get out of that offense that's hitting you so hard, saying, did you hear what that Indian said to me? Anyway, we're in a system that requires credit and debt. And the more debt, by the way, it's great to have debt too. Go buy yourself some equipment for your company, or go buy yourself a house and pay the mortgage with your credit. I'll show you how to do it. Anybody can do it. Do it. Anybody can do it. Anybody can do it, because it's for everyone to do. I remember, like I told you, I was poor most of my life. When I got my very first credit card, okay, Wells Fargo gave me a $6,000 card. And I went to go buy, I was going to buy something, and I didn't have enough in my checking account. This is before I knew anything about credit and how to use it as a bank. And I had just bought a little house. Okay. What a dummy. You're not dumb for buying a house. I wasn't dumb for buying a house. I was dumb for the way I bought the house, because I thought the American dream is you go get a mortgage. Okay. But anyway, getting back to this, they gave me a credit card in the mail and said, here's a credit card. I didn't even apply for it. They just gave it to me, $6,000. So I called them. I said, activate it, call the number. I called the number, and it said, yeah, hello, Mr. Mackey, you activating your credit card? And I'm like, yeah, but I don't know how I got it, and I don't even know how to use one of these things. And the rep on the telephone there at Wells Fargo for that Visa card they gave me had to explain to me how the credit card worked. If I would have been in person, I'd have been a little embarrassed, but it was over the phone. And she was explaining to me how the credit card worked and said I could use it on anything. Well, I wanted to buy something. I didn't have enough money in my checking account. I had money coming. I was putting money into it. By the way, I'm crypto now. At this point, I'm crypto. So I'm not broke, but I just didn't have any money at the time in my bank account, which is what all of us do. We run out of money, and then we're waiting, and that's the stress time, right? How do I pay the mortgage? How do I pay the bills? How do I pay my employees? How do I scale? How do I do this and that? How to, et cetera. I'm not telling you anything you don't already go through. But I wanted to use the card, and I thought it was illegal, because I heard somebody on the internet saying you can't use your card for this and you can't do this and that. I thought it was illegal to use my credit card. I didn't know that I could use the credit card to buy what I wanted to buy. So I go to the person who has the business and said, you're going to have to help me, sir. I want to buy this from you, but I don't have any cash, and they gave me a credit card. Can I use this credit card to buy this from you? And now, to the average person listening to me right now, you may think I was really stupid. I wouldn't say I was stupid. I would say that I was very uneducated. And they didn't laugh at me. That was for sure. But then he explained to me exactly what I could buy with that credit card and how to do it. And then I walked out of there with what I went there to buy. And as they say, the rest is history, so to speak. I started learning how to use credit. Anyway, that story is humbling and a little, well, it's humbling to know that I was that ignorant about money and credit. Okay? And I'm still learning. You're going to learn a lot as you keep going in the credit world. Anyway, boy, I really digressed on that. Let's get back to this crypto, okay? Once again, you get the credit, and I did. I got one time. I took $100,000 and I went and bought some crypto with it. Yeah, right away, bam, let's go. Liquidate that sucker and let's buy some crypto. All right, let's get back to this. So, but this is what I was talking about right here. Here is where they distract you, but this is what you want to look at. It's the daily trading volume. Now, the Bitcoin's down 3.87% for the day. But here's what you want to look at. So the trading volume for big, and a lot of this are the big buyers and the big sellers. The big boys and the big girls, as I like to say, 32,866,000,000, but it only moved 1.1% in trading volume over the last 23 hours from this last hour. So there's a little bit of accumulation going on here. Let me look at this right here. Let's take a look at this. This is a different chart here. But you see these lanes where it traveled in right here. Now it's in this descending lane right here. Look at that. It's clear as day. Not a lot of movement today. You can see here. See this red candle? Not a lot of movement. Yesterday, the sellers were having their way most of the day when it made it down to 49,000. And then it ended the day, up in the high 50, the $58,000 mark. You see that? Matter of fact, remember that we were just talking about this, how that's a very significant number, because way back in the day, this is the mark that's very significant. So anyway, and then here it is again today. You see here see how small that candle is? So it's really, really, really a thin candle. See that? See this red candle here? See, it's really thin going up, it's down, and then the thick part of it there. And I talk in this way for you folks out there who get confused when they do these extravagant charts. But here, the buyer started to have its way, but then it came back down. Not a lot of trading went on today. Just very little trading, but it was all done at the same price point, pretty much the same price point. Can you see that? You can also see this lane. This is a weekly. Oh, by the way, this is a weekly chart right here. This is a weekly chart, not daily. The other chart I was showing you was daily. This is a weekly chart right here, but it's clear as day. You can see how it's been traveling in this lane, descending, not ascending, descending. It's clear as day it's going down. So let's see what happens. I have it charted all the way down, back down to, now you guys don't get too scared on me here, but I have Bitcoin charted all the way back down to $300. Will it, see that there's the lane right there. Look at it. It's right in front of you. Here's the lane. If it was to continue to go down this lane, not saying it will, it still has the ability to once again head up to the $180,000 range. Easy. We could be heading into the 100,000. I'll just real quick, I'm going to show you a real simple right here. There it is right there. See that? This is where it could have gone. Now we're past this point, so you can't really look back. But this is a lane that it was trying to travel in to head upwards. Okay, right there. It's actually more like this one right here. if you want to be more pure about it, right there. That's more like it right there. Right there. That's the lane right there. So this is the lane that it was heading up, and now we're past that. We're past, now this is very simple charting, guys and gals. This is very simple charting. Okay, this is nothing extravagant, but once again, I like to, and I do, we won't share those charts with you. You know, the ones where we really get detailed out. I won't share those with you because there's plenty of people out there like Matt, who's on Bruce's show in the morning. Well, you know, these guys, he really does it right. This guy knows what he's talking about. So I'll leave those really detailed charts to those guys. But for those of you who are willing, this is charting 101 for, I wouldn't say beginners, but just so that you can get your mind wrapped around the lane, the actual lanes that it's traveling in. That's what you want to look at, the actual lanes that it's traveling in, okay? And this shows you the lane right here that it was traveling in, and now it's traveling in this. So let's get rid of this because this is not valid anymore, not really. It's not valid. Now in the bigger picture, it could be, depending on what happens here. But once again, when you look at this, this is why you can't be afraid to extend your charts out and look to where it goes. This is back in the beginning, right back here, August of 2011, when it really starting to move. And this trajectory right here, it clips the top of these because these were never meant to stay up there. It was meant to be in this lane right here. And this, it's calculated. So you have people who are controlling this, especially those who have the real money, you know, some institutional money's coming in. And it did travel in this sub channel, but here's where they did try to take it back up. But all these guys are taking their profits again. And some of these guys, if they could have their way, would have it head right back down there into the $300-400 range. Is Bitcoin going to? I don't think it will, but I do see a case for it coming back down here into the $10,000 range, or excuse me, the $3,000 to the $14,000 range right here. I see a case for that. There's nothing to indicate that here. There's nothing to indicate that right now. Nothing to indicate that we're heading there, but this is the direction that if it was to stay in this lane, that we could see this hitting that $3,000 to $14,000, somewhere between $3,000 and $14,000. See this right here? That's $32,000, and then you're all the way down to $3,000 here. That's a $30,000 swing, but it's all doable here. I mean, it could happen. Not saying it will. There's a lot of support right in here and right in here to not make that happen. Like, it would take a real major event of somebody somewhere selling off some major amounts, you know, or loading up major amounts of crypto onto the exchange somewhere. And then people panic and say, hey, look at this. This guy's got X amount of Bitcoin. This could be what he's trying to do. So we don't know. Okay. But anyway, this is simple charting. And I rely on this. I try to keep charting for me as simple as possible, but this is my indicators. This is what I look at more than anything right here is the daily trading volume. Because this daily trading volume is going to tell a big story that very few people ever talk about. You see Ethereum here trading at $2,651. Let's take a look at the other Bitcoins. So Bitcoin Cash trading right now at $337.73. and look at the daily trading volume. This thing over the last over the last month or so, and even longer, has been trading, 30, 40, 50% a day in trading volume swinging. This is at 4%. So what this means is it's accumulating. Watch out. I'm not giving any advice. I'm not giving anybody any advice, but watch out. When it starts to accumulate, where the buyers and the sellers, they're not trying, the buyers are not trying to win, the sellers aren't trying to win. There's a little trading going on, but it's very little buying and very little selling going on. It's a checkmate right this second. They're just kind of eyeing each other out. When it starts to accumulate like that, it's going to move sooner or later, and it usually moves in a large amount, in big numbers. So who knows? Has a $6.6 billion market cap, but this is where, Bitcoin Cash was trading $800 million 2 or 3 weeks ago in daily trading. Typically, this is where Bitcoin Cash has been trading for a long time, somewhere between 120 and 180 million dollars. 180 million was a lot of trading for Bitcoin Cash. It was typically trading around 120 to 140 million dollars a day, and so this is where it bumped up to the 186 million. But anyway, this is a familiar number right here to Bitcoin Cash. Let's take a look at the other Bitcoin. We won't look at Bitcoin Gold, but we'll look at BSV, Bitcoin Satoshi Vision. By the way, Bitcoin Satoshi Vision is the coin of, let me talk to you for a second. Bitcoin Satoshi Vision is the Bitcoin of BlackRock and Vanguard. The number one and second largest company in the world. Let's put this in perspective. Donald Trump hit on it. We were supposed to have an interview. This is why you want to support us over here, if you can, so that we can go to these crypto events. We were supposed to have an interview with Donald Trump. Could you imagine Bruce Porter interviewing Trump? Yeah, I can. Anyway, we were supposed to interview him in September, and then he got shot, and then everything just went in his timeline, sped up. Instead of us having that interview with him where he was going to say all that he was going to say about Bitcoin, he said it in Tennessee instead of the UN blockchain event that we're going to be at in September. But it is what it is. It hurt our feelings a little bit, but it is what it is. When Donald J. Trump or Elon Musk, when they talk, people listen. They had 1 billion views, over 1 billion views. Listen to that interview with Elon Musk and Trump. Over 1 billion, which was incredible. 1 billion, the most heard interview in the history of interviews. 1 billion. That is 1/8 of the world. 1/8 of the world listened to that. It's incredible. Okay, getting back to this right here, Bitcoin. So I want to look at you for a second. So when the ETFs got approved, BlackRock got an ETF, and them and Vanguard are the only two of the 11 that put in their application, the easiest way to say it, of what Bitcoin they were backing. The other 9 are used BTC as the Bitcoin of their choice for their ETF. BlackRock and Vanguard chose BSV. And let's put that in perspective. Let's have some coffee. Don't drink, don't do drugs. Let's put that in perspective. So out of the future 500 companies, okay, the Fortune 500 on the NASDAQ, that started in 1959. There's not one of those 500 companies that started in 1959 that's still in the future 500. Not one of them. They're all gone. They used to say those companies were too big to fail. Almost all of them are not even in existence anymore. But out of the new 500 that are in there, BlackRock and Vanguard own 80% of the shares of those 500 companies. BlackRock and Vanguard, and BlackRock's here, Vanguard's right below them, and they work together like brothers or sisters. They work together, but they own 80% of all those shares. Okay. And BlackRock just announced that they gave $100 million, which is nothing, to the new stock exchange that they're wanting to start here in Texas. Okay. And this stock exchange will rival the NASDAQ. It will rival the Dow. Why? Because BlackRock owns 30% of the world. They own 80% of all the shares just from those Fortune 500s. Where do you think those companies are going, or offshoot, if the feds step in and say, no, you can't take these companies off the NASDAQ. You have to keep them on the NASDAQ. Well, there'll be a brother-sister company started the next day after that happens onto this stock exchange. Matter of fact, they're already starting to work on those. But getting back to BlackRock and Vanguard, so BlackRock owns about 31% of all the business in the world, in the entire world. They're the biggest company in the world. And on any given day, 25% of all the currency that trades hands in a given day is owned by BlackRock. So if the biggest company in the world, who owns 1/3 of the world, with 25% of the currency trading hands daily, is theirs, and they're betting on another Bitcoin. They're betting on BSV. By the way, those of you at BSV and Chainlink, you're working on the BSV blockchain. If you see a spike, and I'm not giving any financial advice, but if you see a spike, you better reach out and say something to me, sucker. We used to, back in the day, man, we used to move the market when I had my radio show. This was 7 years ago. 7 years ago when the market cap was like $600 million total 600 million, I think 600 billion, excuse me. I think, no. I'll have to go do my numbers. Everything's recorded. I have receipts. I did all these radio shows every day, Monday through Friday, and I'd get on and talk. I have all my receipts from what I said about Bitcoin and some of the other coins too. A lot of the other coins. In my prediction, I still think Bitcoin's going to $100 million. It has to. Well, it doesn't have to, but you have 100 million Satoshis inside of Bitcoin. You have 1 million bits, 100 million Satoshis. If each Satoshi turned into $1, then Bitcoin would be worth 100 million. And then you have the bits inside, and anybody, go get yourself a bit calculator, because Bitcoin was created to be deflationary, not inflationary. So they're not printing more of it, costing more. There's a finite amount of coin, 21 million, that's ever going to get produced ever, or mined ever, mined ever. And the more that the bits are used on the blockchain, the more those bits break down into more bits. It breaks down into more, and it makes more. And that's deflationary. There's that 21 million Bitcoin. You could have 80 billion, 80, you could have 90, 88, I think it's 89. You can have 89 billion. We did the calculations. You can have 89 billion people on Earth, all rotating about $237,000 a year, and still have plenty of Bitcoin. It breaks down. It breaks down. You could have like 89 billion people and all making about 237,000 a year, where they're only using Bitcoin. Of course, it's not going to happen that way, because these other coins, as you know, and some of you guys love your coins, right? You're a Cardano fan, or an XRP fan, or a Doge fan, or whoever, whatever, you know, Ethereum. You're a fan of your own coin. I'm just saying, if Bitcoin was a currency, then the more it's used, the more those bits inside the Bitcoin breaks down into more. Grab yourself a bit calculator and go do it yourself if you don't believe me. You don't have to believe me. Go do your own research. So you're getting back here to Bitcoin Satoshi Vision. Once again, this is the coin that is the coin of choice. Now, do they do Bitcoin? Yes. Yeah, just like the other companies do. But BSV is the one they're backing. They haven't decided yet if that's going to be exclusive on it. Go do your readings. Go read on it yourself. There's nothing I'm telling you that you can't go read and find out on your own. We used to break stories all the time, and they go, how did you get these stories? Because we broke, back in the day when we were doing radio, we broke 5, I think 7 total, but we wrote 5 national stories that the big ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox didn't want to pick up. And people were asking, how did you break these stories? Well, I just went onto their sites and read their information, just like Alex Jones does. He reads what they put in writing and put out right in front of us and say they're going to do. Like it's nothing in secret. These societies and these big companies and these governments and the New World Order and all that stuff, they tell us what they're going to do, like the depopulation. When at the last World Economic Summit, where there was a dozen different big organizations, unelected people, who said, you know, our goal is to depopulate Earth by 90%. That means they want to take the 8 billion people and bring it down to 800 million people. That is their goal. It's in writing. Go read it yourself. This is not like conspiracy. But anyway, getting back to this right here, you have the 2 largest companies in the entire world who are betting on BSV. Not officially yet, but it's in their own writing for the ETF. BlackRock was approved for its ETF with the assumption that BSV is the coin, is the Bitcoin. Now let's take a look at BSV. With that said, look at this. Pitiful, trading $21 million. But this is where, now this is underperforming. This should be around $400. That's why I have it charted. Look, let's go back to that. Let's go back to this. That's why I have it charted to come back down here, around zero there, around the $400 range right there. It's actually in between this little mark right here and that right there, which is right there. It's a little bit lower than that, but I can't hit the mark. Right there. See that here? See how it's hitting the bottom? It's hitting the bottom of this of this line right here. And then right there, if you go straight across and look at this, it's matched up perfectly right here from back in 2014, 2011, 2014, where it comes across here, where it was trading at that amount right here. And it's still relevant today. This is why I do charting the way this is simple charting, but this is where the value if one of these coins like Bitcoin or BSV was actually going to become currency, then the value of the coin has to come down. It doesn't have to come down. Let me rephrase that. It does not have to come down, but it makes more sense for it to reset back down into the $400 range, or definitely under the $14,000 range, somewhere between $3,300 and $14,000. Now, is that going to happen? We don't know. We don't know if that's going to happen or not going to happen. We don't know where it's going to go. It could go to the moon tomorrow. Like, we could wake in the middle, and it always happens in the middle of the night. Not always. Not always. I mean, it could happen at any time, and it could head straight up to the moon. And if it does, I think our next milestone is 82,000, then 108,000, and then 140, 155, and then 188. I believe 82,000, 95,000, 108,000, something like that. I could go back and look at my charts, but based on what I've charted, it looks like 82,000 is the next high that we should go to, somewhere a little bit over 82,000, 95,000, 108,000. I think we're going to blow past the 100 and 101 to 108, then 140,000, 155,000 to 158, and then 188, just a tad above 188. So that's what those are the milestones that I have for Bitcoin going up. The next one is 220 something thousand or 245. I had to look again at my charting, but I do have it bouncing. Once it bounces out of 188, all bets are off. All bets are off. And it could easily go to $1 million from there. Now, if it does though, the retracement is going to be murderous. And when I say murderous, I'm saying because it always is going to retrace. It's going to retrace so people can take their profits, and the new buyers are going to come in. The billionaires and the 100 millionaires are going to leave the space. They're going to take their money. New 100 millionaires, new billionaires are going to step in because that's the way it's been working for the last 14 years. People with the money have manipulated their way in. Then they take their and run with it. But anyway, all bets are off if it goes from 188. From there, there's nothing stopping it from hitting $1 million. I mean, nothing from stopping it at that point right there. So it's going to be exciting to see what happens. But let's go back and look at this coin here, because I want to look at the Bitcoin Satoshi Vision here. It only traded $21 million, has a market cap under $1 billion, $844 million. $844 million, but it only traded 21 million. That is pathetic. Wow. Let's look at a couple of more coins, and then I'll just give my analysis on it. Here's the Binance coin. Don't have much to say about that, but Solana trading at $144.16. Now look at this. This is something to pay attention to, guys. The price only went down a third of a point for the day, the last 24 hours, including this hour, going back the last 23 hours. It traded $3.2 billion, but look at this. Here's the story. It traded 24.16% more trading for the day than yesterday. and most of this is in a sell-off. You see that? But it didn't go very far. It didn't go very far. All right, let's get out of that. Ripple trading at 56 cents, traded 1,168 million. It's only down 8.9% in trading volume for the day. But look at this. Matt has Ripple an single A rating, but he has it in the sell position. I don't want to get into that too much of that tonight. Here's Deutsche trading at 10 cents. By the way, when I first saw Deutsche, it was 0.00005. Oh boy, trading $581 million and 13% up in trading for the day, which is not much. This is the accumulation that we're talking about, guys and gals. So be careful. Be careful. None of these are in the buy and sell position except for Ripple. Look at that, Ripple. None of these are in the buy or sell position, but they've all been reduced. A lot of these have been reduced from AAA rating down to single A rate, double or single A rating. Here's Cardano once again trading at 33 cents. And the Shiba Inu coin. Now, this one right here is something to watch because you see where this was trading at 0.00004 just about a month ago or so. And now it's trading at 136. But here's the story right here. This coin, this token was trading in the 800 million and billion dollar range. It is down to 178 million. Watch out, guys. Pay attention. Watch out. That is a really small amount of trading going on compared to what it was trading. Okay, so just pay attention. That's all I'm saying. Of course, Bitcoin Cash is ranked in the top 20 coins. BSV for the longest time was in the top 10. Bitcoin Cash ranked number 20, and it has had an insurgence. I mean, in the last few months, Bitcoin Cash, because it has a utility behind it, they're building a business around it, trading $186 million. Something to look at. There's old Litecoin right here. This is a fan favorite, $64.56. It's up 11% in trading for the day at $295 million. It's up 10% for the week. And I think, well, here's Monero. They've been around a long time. $153, $152.97. It's down 6.6% for the day, $45 million. Wow. Volume has really gone down. Okay, I think that's all I'm going to show there. I'm going to show. This coin has gone nowhere. And of course, BSV was in the top 10. It's ranked number 92. $21 million in trading. That is pathetic. Wow. It was 25 just a little while ago. I don't know how it changed so fast. Market cap. You see here, it's mined the same amount of Bitcoin as Bitcoin Cash and BTC. So a lot of people take this coin very serious. Okay. And there we are right now trading. 58,214. Oh, hold on 1 second. I have to tell the cleaning people. Yo tengo mis perros en la oficina. Okay, thank you. I got to practice my Spanish. I can't speak very good Spanish. So I was talking to somebody last week. I was talking to somebody, what I'm trying to say. I was talking to somebody in Spanish. And they said, sorry, sir, I don't speak English. I'm like, I'm speaking Spanish. And they go, sorry, I don't speak English. That's how bad my Spanish is. Holy cow. But I tell everybody that doesn't, and I love America. I don't really like the English language that much because they dummied down this language for us. People talk about the Queen's English or the King's English, and we make fun of England, but that's the proper English that our court system uses. Did you know that? Our police and our courts use the King's English, not American English. That's how they dummy us down for us not to know. So I think it's important that you do speak English. If you're over here, you need to learn it because it opens up a lot of doors. And I tell people, learn English. You're in America now. And it opens a lot of doors. And you know what? I've never, not once, has anybody ever said, you're a racist. Like, I can't believe you would say it. Not one. Matter of fact, I've given lots of lessons, and I sure enjoy it. I love people from all over the world. You got to come here the right way. But once again, we won't digress and get into that one, okay? Those of you who are wanting to get some credit, it's not that hard. You can click on that link right below my head there. I think the QR code may be up there, but if not, smartmoneyculture.tv/credit. You can go there, smartmoneyculture.tv/credit. Go there and fill out the form. It's real simple. And let us help you go get yourself, 100. The average person actually that meets the data criteria gets about 150, but it's not hard to get 150, somewhere between 150,000 and 250,000, but it's not hard to get 100. 100 is pretty simple. Talking about $100,000 in business credit and or lines of credit, but the business credit's easy to get. Easy. Ain't rocket science. I got a lot of streaming going on. We have 1,071. Hit the like button. Go over to my channel too. Go to Smart Money Culture. And I don't know how you do it. Just hit the like button and subscribe. You can go over to Smart Money. You can go over to my channel too. Thank you, Bruce, for letting us get on. But those of you who are wanting some credit, you just click that link. It's pretty simple. You fill out your name, your phone number, email address. Make sure you put in a real name and a real number. You don't have to fill it out, but how many years in business, how many credit cards you have. And the reason we ask how much liquid cash you possess is because this right here determines this here is just as important right here. This is just as important as your credit score, because depending on how much you have will depend on how we can help you seed your accounts and apply. Then you hit the agree, bam, bam, hit submit, and then there you go. Let's see what's playing real quick. Oh, they're playing my commercials. You can hit that QR code right there. It'll take you right to this page, the credit page. Because you won't get rich watching sitcoms. You're not going to get rich watching sitcoms. We have 1,071 people watching this live right now. 1,065. I have 4 people on my channel. We're brand new. We just started it like 4 or 5 days ago. I think the most we had watching was last night. We had 61 people watching live. On Twitch and YouTube, I have one person on each one. That's hilarious. I love it. Thank you guys for being loyal to Bruce Porter and his brother David. Thank you for showing up too for his show or for the show. He may have some other good content on here too. If we can, we're going to get Hubert Johnson on here. He's the tax guy. That stuff right. Or you can just go to smartmoneyculture.tv too. Okay. You can be a loyal follower and listener of our shows over there too. We're all partnered together. My goal is to get Bruce as a television network owner. And by the way, once again, those of you who are just joining us who don't know who I am, my name is Fly Mackey. I'm the CEO of Smart Money Culture Television Network. And we have 5 channels. There's an Indian right there.
It's a minute for our body to catch up. Have you ever wanted to forgive somebody but just couldn't get the words out? It's because our body is not there yet. So the recommendation is this, and it's pretty simple. Just say it. Sometimes we don't get a second chance.
If you got something you want to do it now. That's what I try to tell people all the time. Sometimes we don't get a second chance. It's okay. It's okay to apologize, or it's okay not to apologize and move on, but just don't do it again. If you have a husband or a wife or a significant other, children, listen, we live in between these frequencies. And I'm a big believer in moving into those other dimensions. This isn't like conspiracy or anything like that. Just look at the sound waves. Look at what snow is and what water. Put water on vibration. You'll see how it turns into something different. It's amazing. You know, the TV signals are on sound waves, like the signal that comes out from the server to the tower out to the television. That signal right there is an amazing, amazing signal. Okay. I mean, down the road, you're going to see cars being driven remotely. And so when you see them putting down these new roads and new pavement stuff, there's metal in the striping, the stripes down the middle, stripes down the side, the tar, the new roads they're making all has metal in it. So, or a metal byproduct, so that the cars can drive over it and they can control it, remote control, just like a remote control car over the TV towers. I did a whole show on it. We'll do more on it, but we did a whole show on how, cars are going to be driven by remote control. And so it'll be really easy. Now it's autonomous. The car is autonomous, and it's right now being driven by computers from a signal somewhere else that's talking to the cars. It's all done from inside the cars, but in the future, it's going to be done over the TV and cell phone towers with a signal directly to your car, which is going to be really cool. We're supposed to have an interview with Donald Trump in September. Help us get to that event. You can go to see that button right there, right up top where it says credit, and right beside it, it says contact. Fill that out and tell us how you can help us get there. You can donate, or you can do business with us. You can buy one of our services. And when you buy our services, that gives us money to expand out, because that's what we're doing. We're going to have an interview with Trump, hopefully September 25th or 26th, the UN blockchain event in New York. It'd be great to see you there. So help us get there, okay? But anyway, let me get back to this right here. You fill out these forms. It's real easy. Oh, this is what I wanted to show you. This is why I came over here. So for those of you who are brand new, who just logged on here and are watching us over the last 30 minutes or the last hour, I'm going to go about another 11 minutes, and then we're going to call it the night, okay? But And thank you for the 1,125 people that showed up. It's amazing. Thank you so much. I'm streaming to 8 platforms. Not sure where all those are. That's okay. $1,119 people watching live on Bruce Porter's channel. And then I have 1 person on YouTube, 1 on Twitch, and 4 on my other X channel. I love it. But these are the 5 cities. Those of you who are new to joining us right this minute, these are the 5 cities that we're in right now. These are TV channels that we're in. There's the Indian right there. I look a lot better when, they make you up, comb your hair, and put on a jacket. I look a lot better. I do like to smile. But these are the markets, and Bruce and his brother David have a show on my television network in Texas every day, Monday through Friday at 6 a.m. Central Standard Time. So if you're watching now and you're in Texas, if you're watching here on X and you're in Texas, you can just turn on the television set to 21.4 and you can watch Bruce in the morning at 6 a.m. He has another show at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. Okay. Tallahassee's on its way. We already have the station, but we're just waiting for the transmitters to go up the tower. As soon as that happens, we are live. These are the cities that I have. I'm a small television network owner. How did I do that? I am a small television. We already have the work owner. Okay. We're little bitty guys, and we always need your help. And I'm not just self-funded. Those of you who do crypto and blockchain businesses, you know exactly what I'm talking about, exactly what we're going through. It is a booger. But once again, if you don't have credit, you're not even in the game, which is something that I talk about all the time. And here you go right here. This is the U.S. debt clock. And you see this $35 trillion in debt we are. Ooh, that's exciting. $35 trillion, $159 billion. That's just all interest. Wow, that's incredible. That's a lot of debt right there. But once again, if you don't have debt, then you're not even in the game. Because when you do have debt, then the financial institutions are going to give you credit. And there's a few things that you can do to get yourself in the position to where you can get massive amounts of credit. And we had a guy that I did an analysis for yesterday. And let me see if I can play some of this or get some of this. You can see here, this guy took a loan for $640,000, and he was a vet, so he got a price of 4.935%. But the interest over 30 years is going to be $587,000. Can you see that? $587,700.80. That's how much this guy's going to pay in interest on his loan for his house. You see here how it's front loaded on interest, $2,632, his very first payment. But on the back side, on the principal, he's only going to get $778 that goes towards the principal. This is going to take him 360 months to pay this thing off. I mean, to the month. To the month. That's paying a minimum monthly payment of $3,410. Now, the majority of that $3,410 is interest. Like, this is how they get us. Now let's look at $600,000, $640,000, and we're going to pay this one off in 48 months. We'll show you exactly how to do that. But look at this right here, his monthly payment. So this guy right here makes about $18,000 a month. Yeah, about 18,000 a month, 19,000 a month. And now we're not financial advisors and anybody can do this, but one of the things that we suggested was after his taxes, he's in the 30% tax bracket. So after taxes, he takes home about $20,000, $20,800 every month. So we suggested that, and then he puts money in the 401k, which is a total scam. You don't make any money. I mean, they take their fees and the amount that they give you, it may grow to, let's say, $1 million. And you go, I did really good, but it could have gone to 5, 6, 7, 8 million. Anyway, I'm not going to get too deep in the weeds on that, but here you see all that interest that they would save if they learned how to put their entire check into the line of credit. So this is a line of credit. They take their entire check, put it in there, and then they subtract the bills out of there. And after it's all said and done, about 12,000 of it, 12,700 goes to the principal. The interest, he had that about 60, 70% of the interest went away. And doing it this strategy here, in 48 months, he's going to have that $640,000 mortgage paid for with his line of credit, and he's still going to have that $640,000 in his line of credit available to him. Now, here's the miracle part of this. He's going to save 500. Look at this. I want you to see this with me. 587,700. $587,780. Okay. In this second scenario, by following our strategy, he's going to see this right here. Let's just take it right here. See this 29,000. So minus $29,696.96. He's going to save himself $558,003.84. But this is a big deal. By just learning how to reallocate how he pays his bills and where he puts his money, just by reallocating it, that he's not getting any extra money. He's just reallocating where he puts it and how he spends it. And by doing that, he's going to save himself $558,000 in interest payments. So when you save that much, what do? Well, you get to use it front loaded and use your credit. Let's say you have what you would have paid in interest, you could use on a business or buying another house or buying more property or buying some other business or investing in something. Maybe you want to invest in Coca-Cola or whatever, Amazon. Maybe you want to buy their Amazon shares, or maybe you want to do a crypto business and you want to invest in that. And let's say because you save $558,000 in interest payments, you could invest that much into a business, and just by paying your bills normally, how you would have paid if it was a mortgage and you were paying their interest the way they wanted you to, just like they were going to pay them, pay yourself. And you'll pay off your debt just like you were going to pay off their debt. I can't wait to get in front of Donald Trump and show him. People ask me all the time, what do you think? Why do you think that anybody would listen to you? Well, we have the right to put our ideas out there just like anybody, and you do too. Out of the 1,218 viewers that are viewing this right now, 1,212 viewers out of the 1,212 live viewers right now, you have the right to come up with a great idea. And many of you have by going into a crypto business or some other kind of business. It doesn't matter what it is. You have the right to invent something or make something happen. All right, guys, it's 12 midnight. And we're going to call it quits for the night here. I sure enjoyed being with you tonight. I really did. If you have any questions, and if you're looking for credit, go to smartmoneyculture.tv/credit. Look for us tomorrow night here on Bruce Porter's channel. Anyway, enjoyed the time with you tonight. I'm Fly Mackey. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow. I love that. That was a lot of fun. Yes. We're going to quit streaming. It's asking, do you want to quit streaming? Yeah, we're going to quit streaming. Make sure you go over to Smart Money Culture.